Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA update. Today, I'm currently diving into Everdome. I've gone over this project many a time. Now, looking at Everdome here, I did mention not too long ago that we had a strong level of resistance above us, right? And I think I put it in the charts. It was somewhere around here, okay? And you can see that we got a little bit we did have a bit of a breakout above this, okay, but we came straight back down and now we're getting rejected. I do believe by this previous level of support that we was holding, okay, you came down, support, and you lost it, turned it to resistance, and now you're getting rejected, okay, and this is something I saw coming. Bitcoin hasn't been behaving very well. It's still trying to find its lows, and I do believe that there still potentially is further downside on the table for Bitcoin, and equally to that, alts potentially will suffer. Okay, so but as I mentioned before in a previous video, Everdome's been holding up relatively well considering. Now, looking at the chart here, as I said, this is was a key level of resistance. Okay, so from this high, we're retracing to this low. Okay, so let's see where we are now with a fib. Okay, so we'll get a fib on over here. And you can see that we're retracing to this low down here currently, okay? And what we're doing right now is we've lost the 382, okay? We was currently holding this as support, I believe, in a video I showed before. It's around a price of 0.034. And yeah, we've lost that. We're closing below it. If we see today's close below this price, okay, we're looking at retesting the 050, okay? That's our next fib level down to come and retest. And equally, you can see here, it was strong support back on the 1st and 2nd and 3rd of May, because we came up, came down, held a support, broke out, okay? So now are we going to come down and hold it here and break back above again and put in a higher low than this low here, which is bullish structure, okay? You just have to break this high and create a higher high, because then you're going up in bullish formation, okay? Are we going to do that? Or is Bitcoin going to roll and we're going to continue to come back down and start retesting lower fib targets down here, okay? Now, if we do and we come down, say, for example, and get a bounce here, it all depends whether we can get back above certain fib levels, or are we going to continue our downtrend and retest these lower lows for Dome, okay? So there's a lot going on right now, basically, and I am, as I did mention in previous videos, again, looking for a retest of this sort of low area here, filling this sort of wick with a candle. I mentioned before, like on the 9th of, I think it was February, yeah, we had a massive wick and candle here. Are they going to act as strong support and then we're going to come down and hold that? Is this our structural foundation of support down here now? Because as I mentioned, it's been holding up very well. What you can see also here for Everdome, this is on the daily time frame. Sorry if I didn't mention before. What you can see here for Everdome as well is potentially we actually came up and ran into this level of resistance here. So you could say that this was previous resistance, came down, broke out, support, had a little fall down, but we broke back above, couldn't hold this line, turned it to resistance, and now that's where we're currently running into resistance again. Okay, so it was previous support here, support area, and then we lost it, turned it to resistance, and since have come and hit it resistance as resistance again. So that's another sort of area that I was looking at where we've run into resistance. There's a lot to look at. Now, I'm going to show one predicament here, okay? So we've got the all-time high. If we get a fib on from the all-time high down to this low, okay, because we came to this low, came back up, found a higher low, and then tried to break out, but we created a lower high than this high here. Okay, so I'm going to get a fib on from the all-time high down to this steep correction that we had back in February. Okay, now if we take a look at that, what you can see is on this chart here, on this fib level here, potentially, it's a big potential, but could we be coming down to this lower wick end and retesting this 1618? Because normally within a corrective phase from the high to the low, where you came up and created a lower high than this high, and now you're losing support, that is basically the levels that you're retracing from. So this fib has a potential target of actually going down to 0.0168, and that is the negative side. If we start to lose this low here, the next target for me, as I said, right now, that's a wick support. Look at this, look, that's a wick support right there. Great buying pressure came in at the 1414, okay, and that was at 0.020. That was a great opportunity to get involved, because you can see that from that position, Everdome is currently up even though it's, you know, losing support in a negative price action right now, looking at the chart, you would have been up 62%. Okay, so we came down, you can see we came down to the 1414, but is that the end of the correction? Are we going to come down, test this lower wick here, and wick off, have a nasty wick down to the 1618? Potentially, if we do, from current price area, it would be about a 50% correction. And at that time there, Everdome would currently be down a whopping 82%, roughly around 82%. You know, and that's sort of bear market low material. You know, projects fall that sort of level during a bear market. You know, and when Bitcoin's not doing too well, and considering everything else that's going on outside in the world, you know, things don't look amazingly bright. It's not to say there's not hope, okay? But as I said, I do expect more downside for Bitcoin in the near future, and if it does come, you know, we are going to see Everdome come down and retest these sort of low areas, okay? So this is a support area, 1272 and the 1414, because you've got a close around the 1272 and you wick to the 1414. So potentially you could come down and see little relief rallies at these sort of areas, because you always bounce off fib levels. When you come up or go down, you always bounce off them, you know, unless you literally just, as you can see here, you capitulate, okay? That can happen to you, you can capitulate, okay? But sometimes, or a lot of the time, should I say, you do get bounces off sort of fib trend lines. You can see, look, bounces around here, ran up to this one, came back down to this one, you know, and you're literally ranging between fibs, and that's how they work, okay? The market works in waveforms. So this is key structure that I'm looking at right here. One thing that I've noticed as well, if we look at the daily for Dome, okay, on the daily, when we came down to this low, the daily RSI, okay, this is the RSI. The daily RSI was in the floor, okay, and Everdome hadn't tested those levels, and that's why the RSI shows a good indicator to get involved, okay, when you're at these levels down in the floor. So we came back up, we broke back above this momentum line, okay, and then we came up into this uptrend. So in the RSI here, you can see that the price creeped up, okay. As the RSI creeped up, the price creeped up, right? But now, if the RSI comes down and loses this intermediate yellow line, you can see once you have a crossover this yellow line, you're in a downtrend. The price is in a downtrend, okay? So when you're under the yellow line, the price was in a downtrend, okay? We currently are back above it. So you can see currently we're back above this yellow line, okay? The purple RSI indicator is above this medium line. Once we lose that, and if we do go below it, that is where you're going to see more downside, okay? If the RSI starts to roll, price action is gonna follow. I mean, RSI is a lagging indicator, so it's actually the opposite way around. But yeah, one more thing that we can look at before I go, so I know I've dragged this one a little bit on a little bit too long. Sorry for that, guys. But one more thing I wanted to look at. What was it I was going to show you? Oh yeah, EMAs. So looking at the EMAs here, okay, just on the EMAs as well, another indicator. We had the death cross back on the 5th of April, okay, on the daily time frame. Everdome had a death cross, and since then it's lost support and continuously hit its head on the 20, which is this yellow EMA here, this yellow line, the 20 EMA, capitulated, okay, and then it's come up now and hit its head on the 55, okay, so we've ran into the 20 here, ran back up to the 55, and it's quite negative at the moment because this is a high and this is a lower high, okay, so you've got a high, a low, a lower high. If we start to come down and create a lower low, that's negative price structure, okay, that's negative price action. So that's something, again, that I'm watching out for. But we keep hitting our head on this 20 EMA and the 55 and getting rejected each point, okay? And you can see here, when we did get rejected by this 20 EMA, within a few days, we capitulated around 43%. So what's not to say, again, that 1618 area I mentioned earlier sits around 50%, a 50% correction. What's not to say that if we capitulated, 50% from here, that is the 1618 area and this lower wick down here. Okay, so it's all a big potential. We could literally come wick down within a few days. Look at this capitulation. What if we go through something similar here? Bitcoin rolls over and we see Everdome lose support. Okay, everyone shits themselves. It comes down to the 1618 target, which is, if I get that back in again, it comes down to the 1618 target, okay, which is 0.017. Okay, it gets a 50% correction, and then that's it. That's Everdome's low in. It starts to retrace and has to tackle above key levels of resistance above us. It's a long road ahead. Sorry, that's a bit messy, and sorry for dragging it on, but key points to take away. Okay, once you're hitting resistance, once you're hitting yourself on resistance on the EMAs, okay, and getting rejected, this is downtrend, behavior basically. Okay, once you start getting above the EMAs and once you start holding fib levels and bouncing off support and creating higher lows, okay, if something like this, an ascending triangle or something, and breaking out, that is when you're getting bullish structure, breaking previous highs. Okay, so take those points in. Right now we are showing negative price action, and until we aren't, we can't be pro bull on Everdome. Okay, nonetheless, it's a great project, and as I said, the more it does sort of play out where it loses support, it's a good area to get involved. Not financial advice, but again, you can see here, I think I mentioned in the previous video, last thing, this is some sort of rising wedge. Okay, so you've come up, this is a negative pattern, you've come up, higher lows, higher highs, and you're not breaking out. You've lost support here basically of this wedge, so you are retracing to lower lows. And that is another reason why I think we're going to start coming back down here for Everdome. Okay, but none of what I say is financial advice, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.